much for making us part of your morning. Welcome back to ARC Seattle on this Wednesday. I'm Steve McCarron.
And I'm Hannah Knowles. Let's dive right into the deep end. The American Jewish Committee just released its State of Anti-Semitism in America report for 2024. Now, this is the first analysis really taking a look at the impact of anti-Semitism during the full year following the October 7th, 2023 attack in Israel that led to the war unfolding in the Middle East.
And joining us to continue the conversation this morning is Holly Huffnagle, the American Jewish Committee's U.S. Director of Combatting Antisemitism. Holly, appreciate the conversation this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you start explaining for people who don't know what the American Jewish Committee is and does, explain what that committee is for us?
AJC, or American Jewish Committee, we are a global Jewish advocacy organization. We're actually one of the oldest in the United States, founded in 1906. We have offices all over the world, including an office in Seattle, AJC Seattle, and we advocate on behalf of the Jewish community and work to defend the human rights of all people.
And what are some of the key findings of this report?
So AJC has been collecting data on the American Jewish community since 2019, 1 year after the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in our history that happened in Pittsburgh. And this year, for the first time, we're seeing numbers we've never seen before, to be honest, Steve, to be honest, Hannah. 77%, over 3/4 of American Jews feel less safe as a Jewish person in the United States today. We also found that more than half, 56%, report changing their behavior out of fear of anti-Semitism. What does this mean? It means that many Jews are no longer identifying themselves as Jewish. It's too risky. They're no longer going someplace to a synagogue, to a Jewish community center out of fear of anti-Semitism. They're not posting things online that would reveal themselves as Jewish. 2 years ago, that number was 38%, which is already too high, jumped to 56% of American Jews avoiding one of those behaviors.
What about this, the task force that impacts college students? Any thoughts on the administration's task force?
So the Trump administration a few weeks ago announced a task force to combat anti-Semitism. It's part of the Department of Justice. And AJC, we welcome administration efforts. The Biden administration, we welcome those efforts. Trump administration, we welcome efforts to combat anti-Semitism. It's a bipartisan issue. It should be a nonpartisan issue, the need to counter anti-Semitism. The task force is starting, though, on college campuses. We've had a lot of issues on college campuses. In fact, we found that 1 in 3 American Jews say they experienced anti-Semitism during their time on campus. Even the University of Washington just recently, we had an issue where there was a celebration of Hamas, which, saying glory to the martyrs. And when we think about freedom of expression, when it impacts the freedoms and safety of other people, that's what we've been experiencing on campuses across the country. And so we do know that this task force will start with looking at what's happening in campus for young Jews, for the students.
Holly, how do we stop anti-Semitism?
I wish there was a silver bullet, Hannah. Unfortunately, we might not be able to stop it completely. We've had it in our world for over 2,000 years, but we can prevent it and we can lower levels of anti-Semitism. We've seen this before, even after the Holocaust, so we can return to those lower levels. We're working right now to ensure a whole of society approach. So it's not just up to government or law enforcement to counter anti-Semitism, but to everyday Americans to stand up, to speak up when they see something and say something, report anti-Semitism. And I think the most important thing for now is leaning into the Jewish community. There's a large Jewish community in Seattle. How are they feeling? What are their needs? How can allies be helpful? And our website, ajc.org, has more resources for people who want to help.
Holly, I wanted to get your thoughts on something that certainly a lot of people have been talking about in recent days, and that's these anti-Semitic rants from people like rapper Ye, also known as Kanye West. We know that his website was even selling some T-shirts with swastikas that was taken down recently. Any thoughts on that and the impact that those comments or even selling T-shirts like that might have on the conversation and the community itself?
A couple things. One, It points to the variety of sources. We have anti-Semitism from the far right, from white supremacists. We have anti-Semitism from the far left, from far left extremists. We also have it from celebrities and the mainstreaming of the problem, which is something that we saw with Kanye. It's incredibly damaging, this type of behavior and the reach of this behavior. Kanye West has more followers just on his social media accounts than there are Jews in the entire world. 2 or 3 times more followers. There's less than 16 million Jewish people. And we see the offline impact. We saw this 2 years ago, by the way. We have data that shows where incidents happen, real life incidents harming Jews from Kanye West's posts. And so when we see these types of things happening, there needs to be a public backlash to this. And that's the fear. When you see the likes, when you see the t-shirts being bought, that's not okay. And we need to speak up and speak out against that.
Yeah, great points there. Holly, thank you so much for joining us here on ARC Seattle.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Steve.